Ignoring a woman can be a power move if you do it right. But get it wrong, and you'll push her away forever. Will she crave you, or will she forget you? The difference is all in the execution. Today, I'm breaking down exactly how and when to use silence to make her want you more. Ignoring a woman to attract her is a strategy that can either amplify desire or completely destroy any chance you had. The key is understanding why it works, when it works, and when it completely backfires. Women are emotional, intuitive creatures who analyze details, especially when it comes to someone they are interested in. The moment you pull back, their minds go into overdrive, trying to figure out the reason behind your silence. The space you create isn't just empty. It gets filled with thoughts, assumptions, and emotions that will dictate whether she pursues you or forgets about you entirely. A woman who is already interested in you will feel the silence as a shift in energy. She'll notice the missing texts, the sudden lack of attention, the unexpected change in rhythm. This breaks the pattern she's used to, triggering curiosity. Women thrive on emotional connection, and when you disrupt that, it forces her to ask questions. At first, she might assume you're busy, but as time passes, she starts questioning her own role in your life. Did she do something wrong? Is there someone else? The moment these questions arise, her emotions become involved, and that's when you gain leverage, if you handle it correctly. Not every woman will react the same way. The effectiveness of ignoring her depends on the foundation you've already built. If she's already invested, the silence makes her feel a loss, creating urgency to regain your attention. But if she was never fully engaged, your silence will be nothing more than a confirmation of her lack of interest. This is why ignoring a woman is never a one-size-fits-all move. It's a strategy that only works if there was attraction, emotional investment, and a sense of connection in the first place. Otherwise, you're not building mystery, you're just being forgotten. For the women who do feel that shift, their response will fall into one of three categories: desire, doubt, or anger. The first, desire, is the ideal reaction. When a woman already sees you as valuable, your sudden unavailability makes her question her position in your life. She becomes more intrigued because now, instead of you chasing her, she feels the need to chase you. Your lack of attention suggests that your world doesn't revolve around her, and that is deeply attractive. Women are naturally drawn to men who are slightly out of reach, and your silence can make her work harder to regain your attention. This is where she starts initiating, texting first, finding reasons to reach out, or even subtly competing for your attention. Doubt, however, is a dangerous middle ground. If she isn't sure how you feel about her, your silence can create insecurity rather than attraction. This is where she starts second-guessing herself and the connection. A woman who is interested but not fully secure in that interest may begin pulling away instead of chasing. She may assume you lost interest, and rather than trying to win you back, she'll protect herself by detaching. The moment she convinces herself that your silence is a sign of disinterest, she will start mirroring it. At this point, you haven't increased her attraction. You've simply removed yourself from her emotional priority list. Then comes anger, which is the most unpredictable reaction. Some women, especially those accustomed to being pursued, will take your silence as an insult. This triggers their ego more than their emotions. Instead of being drawn to you, they feel disrespected, as if you are trying to manipulate them. These women might lash out, send passive-aggressive messages, or post things on social media designed to provoke you. Their goal is not necessarily to reconnect, but to regain control of the situation. If you continue ignoring them at this stage, the anger may eventually turn into complete detachment, and rather than increasing attraction, you will have pushed them away permanently. The long-term effects of ignoring a woman depend on how well you understand timing and balance. Silence should never feel like a game. If it's obvious that you're deliberately withholding attention just to provoke a reaction, she'll see through it. Women respect confidence, not manipulation. If your silence comes from a place of genuine self-assurance because you're actually busy, living your life focused on your goals, it creates respect. The difference is subtle but critical. A high-value man doesn't need to pretend he's unavailable. He simply is. If she senses that you are truly engaged in your own world, she will want to be part of it. If she senses you are pretending just to get a rise out of her, she will pull away. Ignoring a woman fails when it's used as a desperate attempt to create interest that was never there to begin with. If she wasn't attracted to you in the first place, your silence won't make her miss you. It will make you irrelevant. Women don't suddenly develop attraction just because a man disappears. They need a foundation of curiosity, emotional investment, or admiration first. If none of those exist, ignoring her does nothing except give her an easy reason to move on. Another mistake is inconsistency. If you've been unreliable from the start, ignoring her doesn't create mystery. It confirms what she already suspected. Some men think that by being hot and cold, they create a sense of unpredictability that keeps a woman hooked. In reality, inconsistency is often mistaken for disinterest, and most women will eventually walk away rather than waste time deciphering mixed signals. To use silence effectively, there needs to be a rhythm, a strategic break in communication that feels natural rather than forced. Disappearing completely for days or weeks is not the move. Instead, it's about subtly pulling back just enough to create space for her to notice and react. The goal isn't to make her feel abandoned, it's to make her feel that your attention is valuable, not guaranteed. When you eventually re-engage, it should be smooth, confident, and without explanation. A simple, well-timed message, as if nothing happened, signals that your time is yours to control, and that's what women respect. A man who knows his worth doesn't chase validation. He understands that attraction is built on balance. Too much availability and he loses value, too much distance and he loses connection. The ideal dynamic is one where the woman feels your presence when you're there, but notices your absence when you're not. She should wonder about you, not because you're playing games, but because your life is genuinely interesting enough to occupy your time. The difference between attraction and manipulation is in the authenticity of your actions. If you ignore a woman from a place of insecurity because you think it's the only way to make her want you, she will eventually sense the neediness behind it. But if your silence is the result of confidence, self-respect, and an actual fulfilling life, it becomes magnetic. A woman will always chase a man who makes her feel like winning his attention is an achievement. Men who fail at this strategy often misunderstand the key principle. Attraction isn't about making a woman anxious or uncertain. It's about making her see your value. Silence should never be used as punishment or as a cheap tactic to trigger emotions. Instead, it should be a natural byproduct of your ability to focus on your own priorities. When a man exudes purpose, drive, and self-discipline, his absence speaks for itself. The true test of this approach is whether you can walk away if she doesn't respond the way you hoped. A high-value man doesn't fear losing a woman because he knows that his worth is not dependent on her reaction. If ignoring her doesn't work, he doesn't panic. He doesn't double text. He doesn't break his frame. He simply moves forward, knowing that the right woman will recognize his value without needing to be manipulated into it.